Hey, good morning. So today I'll be doing more NFL betting research, looking to find more patterns in our data, um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Uh, so let's go um, open up our PowerPoint that we have. Okay, so the last thing we looked at was this right here. We looked at swing and spread open to close. This game versus swing and spread versus for previous games. So the hope was that, oh, hey, um, this is kind of the most rudimentary analysis for seeing how the spread's going to move. And the hope was that we would say, hey, this team performed poorly against the spread, and it moved against them, and this team performed well against the spread, so it moved in their favor. Um, Unfortunately, it's not that clear cut because then there's all this noisy data around here. We might be able to isolate a region. Let's copy this, put that in there. So, um, might be able to isolate a useful region. And then also, um, we want to look at spread for last n games. We don't want to just say, hey, what's the last game spread? We want to say, hey, what about do we see more of a trend pop up if we do the average spread over the last 2, 3, 4 games? Do we see a trend pop up if we look at um, this team had this spread last game, that team had this spread last game? Um, can we, use pairs of spreads to predict an outcome? Um, and then finally, this is all going for one season. So maybe we want to split the data set up into different seasons. Um, one information from one game doesn't carry over to, or sorry, information from one season doesn't carry over to subsequent seasons. At least the information that we're looking at, we don't know enough about player data and stuff. If we had a model for each player, we could have that. So Um, that's what we're looking at here. Then also I wanted to do for this technique, um, okay, first off, we're gonna name each trend. This is analysis one, trend one, analysis one, trend two, and analysis one, trend three. Okay, so let's do a new slide. Um, and we're wondering, for mini trends, oh, that's trend two. Okay, so trend three, we're looking at this data. Oh, okay, look at how much money you would win. So analysis one, trend three. All right, trend three, results from betting. So if we actually took these bets, um, how how well would we do? Um, let's open up VS Code. All right, so analysis one, we're looking at this stuff now. So we have wins and losses. Now for what do we want to do? We want to isolate this area. So two techniques. One is isolate this area where there's not a single orange dot, and the other would be isolate this area where there's some orange dots but a low density. Um, okay, so um, how do how do bets perform when using this method. So what I want to look at is um, for 2016 through 2021, if I uh, isolate this trend and take bets that are in the desired region, how much money do I make? Um, okay, and we don't know how to define the region. Is it some automated thing, like maybe grouping? It groups together these. Um, I'm not sure, but what I would like to do is I'd like to say, hey, there's some parameters for this is for all the data, 2007 through 2021. But if we only have like a season or two in there, okay, then we want a technique that will automatically draw this box, get the region that we want to find, and then say, okay, now this year I'm going to take each bet in that region, and then it spits out how it performed taking each bet in that region. And then if we say, hey, from 2016 to 2021, this technique reliably made money, um, then we can move forward with this. And we need to get data for 2022 and for this year, and then we want to test it against this data. This is NFL data, so unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have any techniques done by the end of the season. The season ends in early January, so that's about a month to have some techniques done. So these will be mostly for next year. So I also want to get 2022 and 2023 data. Okay, um, so that what we want to find is uh, for 2016 to 2021, is it successful? How to define a region, automate method in code. All right, so I'll leave that as to do because I'm not sure how to find this region or like automate that. Um, I could do it manually. Could do it manually. Um, so for the first go, we can do it manually. But that's kind of, that involves work, and I don't want to have to do that. Um, we should start. Um, my bit rate is low. I don't know how to fix that. Um, anyway, that sucks. Got to keep this chat up so I don't lose it. Oh, and there have been no views. I guess people don't view stuff early in the morning. Uh, I don't know how to get a higher bit rate. I guess maybe my internet. I already pay $130 for internet. Anyway, what was I looking at? Oh yeah. Oh yes. We want to start a Trello board. Oops. Don't want to share this. Uh, how the heck? Oh, all right. I guess we don't have a betting board yet. This is just what I like to use for project management. Um, it doesn't matter. You could use whatever to keep track of things. Let me know if you have any advice for how to set this up. What I do is I just do to do, doing, done, bottlenecked. All right. So to do, what do we want to do? Um, all right, we want to do perform analysis on analysis. That's a little redundant. Trend to trend. Why did I say that? Trend to see how performance does from 2016 through 2021. Okay. And then also what we want to do is oh not trend one, trend two, analysis one, trend two. Oh yeah. Okay, and then we want to do um figure out how to automatically define the desirable region. Um, okay, and then look into machine learning to group to find regions to take bets in. Okay. So what am I doing now? Working on that. Figure out how to automatically define the desirable region. Uh, look into machine learning. Okay, and then I'll just note here, can start with manual definition of region, then but need to automate at a later date. All right. Okay, so we have some stuff we're doing here, and now if we go back to this PowerPoint, I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. All right. I don't even know where I am. Um, Make sure that looks good. Okay. Nobody's put anything in the chat, of course, because nobody's watching. Yep, still not anyone watching. Average view duration. How's it 20? Anyway, blah blah blah. All right, back here. What are we doing? Analysis 1, trend 2 to see how performance does from 2016 through 2021. Now, we also want to do analyze spread swing for analyze spread swing going back several weeks. So we want to say, hey, analyze average spread swing going back several weeks. And oops, this we're going to edit and add a checklist. Um, okay. Um, okay, so we already did 1 week. Now I have to do 2 weeks. Okay. This I'm putting in to do because I actually don't want to do that now. Okay. And the other thing I want to do is look at how performance against spread does for each team in the season. And what I mean by that is we want to do on the x-axis game and season, and the y-axis should be performance against spread. And then we'll get an idea for how it works. My thinking is that it's probably um, like a sinusoid. A team will be hitting above the spread, and then they will go below the spread, because the spread moves on how bettors think a team will do. So if a team is always covering the spread, then the spread will continue getting bigger for that team. Um, uh, I guess there's actually no comment to make there. All right, so analyze spread swing going back several weeks. This is bottlenecked because before we can do that, we have to write a function that returns the spread swing for the last n weeks. Okay, and then we also want to uh, write a function that gets the spread swing for the last n number of weeks. Um, what else do I even want? We could tag this with a label, which is Bottleneck reliever. Reliever, I before E except after C. I think that's how it's spelled. Guess green is fine. Okay, and for this we need to write a function. All right. So is there anything else we want to do right now? No, I don't think so. Okay. Um, okay, so right now we're trying to write a function that returns the spread swing for the last n weeks. Um, okay. Mm, should I make a new file or add it to the existing files? Um, Write a function that returns the spread swing for the last n number of weeks. So you could just put it in here. We have all these tests and stuff. All right. So let's make a function define get previous spread swings. Okay. And we want to have some number. Uh, First let's put the team week, season, and num weeks to go back. All right, so this one you pass in the data, get previous spread swings. Probably want to pass in the data here too. And then data is equal to data, duh. Get performance against spread. Right, so we take our conditions, which will isolate the data frame down to just what we want to look at. The week and year that we want to look at. Now, this actually isn't it. Hmm. We could do get performance against spread, team week year. Get last week's spread swing. I forget which one of these I wrote first. So get data kind of walks it through here. So we could just say get performance against spread. Yeah, I think that would be good. Get performance against spread deals with weeks to look for. Okay, I'm gonna pause this for a second. Well, I think. I'll be right back. All right, and I'm back. So we're writing our code right here. Now let me think, then we can get started. So we want to get previous spread swings. Um, get performance against spread. Okay, so we can say um, for I in num weeks to go back, uh, week to, oh, this is in range, and the range is the number of weeks to go back. Week to look for is equal to week minus I. week minus I, also minus 1, because when I is 0, we don't want to get the current week, we want to get the previous week. Um, so, we have the week to look for. Now we can say try data found is equal to false. Now, while data found is equal to false, try get last week's data, get last week's spread swing, I think just team week season. Oh, get performance against spread, team week season. Get performance against point spread, team week season. All right. All right, so try to get the performance against the spread. Now, if that doesn't work, we don't want to get this. We want to get week to look for. Now, if this works, then we say week. No, if it works, we say data found is equal to data found is equal to true. Now, if that doesn't work, then week to look for is equal increment by -1. I think I can do that easily. Let me just check. Okay, so, oh yeah, that's right. I was trying to increment by -1. A equals 5, a minus equals 1. Okay. Week to look for minus equals 1. Okay. And then starting at 0 attempts, and if we're down here, then attempts plus equals 1. Now, if attempts, let's see, so attempt starts at 0. After the first attempt, it increments to 1. After the second attempt, it increments to 2. If attempts is greater than or equal to 2, raise exception. Could not find previous week's data for team week in season. Okay, so we increment that by 1. Attempts plus equals 1. All right. Okay, so we're done with that. So we say, well, data found is equal to false. Do this. Do. If temps is greater than or equal to 2, we're raising an exception. And while data found is equal to false. So if data found is true, okay, so now we have this list we're going to call previous swings, and then we're going through each of them. Now, performance data is that. Now, if once we get it, once we exit out of that while loop, then we want to say prev swings dot append performance data. And then the first, yes, the first will be last week's. It will index from last week's performance data to current week minus num weeks to go back. So if you only want to go back 1 week, yeah, that should work. Now previous swings dot append performance data. And then returns performance data. Now we want a new test. Test get previous spread swings. I'm going to make that true. And then if test previous spread swings is equal to true, then what we want to do is say get previous spread data is equal to pd.read read Excel data.xlsx. So we've got our data. Now we say past performances is equal to get previous spread swings of we want to get them for Seattle. Week 8 season is 2007, so it's easy to look at. Okay, and then print past performances. All right, now let's do Python 3 analysis 2.py. Oh, all right, num weeks to go back should be 3, and then data is data. Don't want to return performance data, we want to turn the previous swings. And run it. Should be good. Nope. For I in range, num weeks to go back. Oh, for each one, then the week to look for is equal to week minus I minus 1. Week to look for, we could start out by just saying is week, And then here it gets rewritten. For I in range num weeks to go back, week to look for is equal. Okay, so the first week to look for is the week minus 1. Now this, we could just take that out and put it at the bottom. Okay, at the end of the loop, then we say week to look for, make it 1 smaller than what it currently is. For I in range num weeks to go back, print I and week to look for. All right. Now, why is it just, I mean, okay, so we want to get the last 3 weeks. It's trying to get week 7 data, week 6 data, then week 5 data. Performance data. While data found is equal to false. Try performance data is equal to get performance against spread, team week to look for, season data found is equal to true. Okay, so it's not even going to this except loop. So we're only working in the try loop. So we're just saying, and while data found, so basically we can treat this like it's just a block that goes right here. So we're saying performance data equals get performance against spread. Team week to look for, season data found is equal. Okay, so it's basically just this line actually. Then we say prev swings. Oh, duh. It's writing over that every time, so let's put that in here. Now this I think should work. Nice. 19 minus 17 minus 16. Okay, now that was actually pretty easy. Analyze average spread swing going back several weeks. We also want to analyze try last n weeks spread as input. So we want to try getting last week's spread as an input to a neural network and see how that does. Okay, analyze average spread going back several weeks. Okay, so now what we want to do is get this plot, but instead of the x-axis is spread swing last game, we want to get average spread swing last n games. So get previous spread swings. Now get data, get performance against spread. So do we want to write a new function or do we want to modify this? For C team and enumerate away team, home team. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this and put it down here. Then if I decide that we want a second function, we could just use the other function that we write. If we decide that we only want one function, we could delete the original function. So get data, year, week. Now, swing and spread swing analysis, we could call this. Spread swing for home team. Yeah, so we want to write a function that will make this plot, and all we have to write is uh, like get data, oh, get data of your week. So test single week, spread scores equals get data. Okay, so this one goes through each week in the season, gets the data for each week in the season. Test single season is equal to true. Spreads scores. Calls that get data function. My dog wants out. All right, so um, this test single season, um, find plot spread perf last. All right, so this should get the plot for us, and all we have to specify is how many weeks we want to go back. So we could say, um, okay, all spreads, just copying that first line from test single season. All spreads, all scores is equal to two empty lists. Now, weeks is equal to that. Um, and then for week and weeks. Num weeks. So, all right. So for week and weeks, spreads scores is equal to, oh, get data. So now I have to write this function get data to. That's right. So get data to. Nope, get rid of that. And this we'll put down here. All right, get data to. of year, week, num weeks to go back. df is equal to that. Original df is equal to df. I want to pass in data so that I don't have to deal with it. Just df here. Now get rid of that. Df is df dot where. Get data to week, no weeks to go back. All right, df is equal to df dot reset index, spread diffs, game diffs for index row in df dot iter rows. Home team, away team, past performance is equal to that. Print for C team and enumerate home team, away team, home team. Week being 1, I think, is already handled. Let's go up here. Do we handle if week is 1? Yes, because it's not going to get performance against spread if week's not in there. Just to double check, I think I wrote an exception handling there. Right, yeah, so that will raise an exception. Now get data 2. So we could take out, well, data found is equal to false. Take out that. If week is equal to 1, week to look for is equal to week minus 1. None of that matters anymore. All that matters is performance is equal to get performance against spread, get previous spread swings, get previous spread swings, team week season, team week season. Num weeks to go back is the same. And then data. All right. Get rid of that. All that exception stuff we can get rid of. And performance is equal to that. Now you could say try to get performance. If that doesn't work, actually, who cares if that doesn't work? We'll get the same exception anyway. Get rid of all this stuff. C is equals 0, past performance of away equals perf, else past performance of home equals perf. Previous spread difference is past performance of home minus past performance of away. Past performance of home. So this needs to be written with list comprehension. So previous spread difference is equal to past performance of home of I minus past performance of away of I for I in perf. Okay. Now that should give us a list. Now home performance against spread. Previous spread difference is equal to that. Now home performance against spread Um, get previous spread swings of for C team and enumerate away team, home team, team. We get previous spread swings. Week, yep, year, num weeks to go back and df. If C is equal to 0. Alright, so now we have the previous spread differences. Home performance against spread is equal to, in this game? Yeah, okay, so home performance against spread in this game, and then away performance against spread in this game. Game diff, get the score diff for the game. Get swing and spread row of home closed spread minus row of home open spread. So I guess the game diff that it's returning here is the spread swing in the game, which is what we want. Um, okay, so you can get the mean with the statistics package. All right. And then spread diffs dot append previous spread diff. Previous spread diff is equal to get last week's spread swing. Huh. Get last week's spread swing, previous spread diff. So when is this even used? Oh, what? Man. Spread diffs dot append previous spread diff. Oh man. I gotta think. Gotta think, gotta think, gotta think. Get last week's spread swing of home team minus get last week's spread swing of away team. Yeah, okay. All right, time to lower my desk. All right. So lowering the desk is a nice break from thinking. So here we're getting the previous spread diff. Now, here we say prev spread diff is past performance of home minus past performance of away. Now when they're getting Okay, and get data. Past performance of home, past performance of away. Now, past performance is get performance against spread of team, week to look for, and year. Now, I'm wondering, prev spread diff, if I think these should be the same, but I'm not totally sure. So I want to print them both to make sure. Okay, now let's run the file. Test, get last week's test. Test single season, test single week is what we want. So let's take that off and turn this one on. What are we? I'm having trouble. I mean, obviously it's printing different things. What are all the things that are printing right now? It's printing ones for like the week that it's in. Print. Okay, so we want to get rid of that. Don't want to print week to look for every time. Uh, don't want to print away team, home team every time. Oh, in get data we do want to print it. Get rid of that. Okay, nice. Now let's run it again. 17 0.1. Okay, so these are not the same values. Get last week's spread swing of row of home team of week, year, original, DF. Okay. Um, Now what is this even? I don't know. So this we can get, or we can delete. Um, all right, now we want the performance for each team against the spread. Game diff, okay. Get score diff for the game, get swing and spread. Previous spread diff is equal to um, the average of the previous spread swings. Now, previous spread diff for each, so for the away team and the home team, performance is equal to get previous spread swings. All right, then print perf. Let's look at how that looks. Oh, but this is get data too. Now, if we want to test that, then get data 2, year week, num weeks to go back data frame. So data is equal to pd.read Excel data.xlsx. Then we could say year week, no weeks to go back data frame. So get data 2 of 2017, week 8, go back 4 weeks. And the data frame is data. And then we want to print D. All right, test get data 2 is true. So let's run it. Where the went full screen. All right. This will actually probably take a while to run. We want to look at making it faster. I'm printing D here. Yeah, so I guess we'll just get the mean of the last 4. Statistics isn't called. Alright, get data 2. Then we get previous spread swings. Past performance of away is equal to statistics dot mean of the performance. Okay. Now we have the performance against spread for each team. Then we get the game difference. Then we have the swing and spread. Now what was this? Spread swing last game. Get last week's spread swing. Get previous spread swings. Now previous spread diff is spread diffs. Spread swing last game. Home minus away. Oh, so that's it's a okay. game diff is equal to row of home closed spread minus row of home open spread. So that's the swing in the spread for the home team. Home average over last n games minus away average over last n games. Game diff is equal to that, yeah. So get data 2. So we want to make sure that this works. All right, so now what's being printed here? Plot spread per in last n weeks. Week equals that for week and week. Spread scores equal to that. Spreads scores is equal to get data 2. 2018 week. 2018 week. Num weeks. To go back is num weeks. Now, we also want to specify the data. Now we've got our data for week and weeks. We want to pass in the data argument. Then for spread and spreads, all spreads dot append spread. For score and scores, all scores dot append score. And then we could basically just take this and put it in, I think. Okay, so now we want to add a boolean to test get last n week spread performance. If get last test test plot last week's spread performance is equal to true, then Plot spread performance last N weeks. May as well just start with the average over the last 2 games. Um, okay, so we have this function that should plot the performance against the spread the last N weeks. We have get previous spread swings, which works. Get data 2, I'm not sure that it works. Um, yeah, so let's say print home team past performance of home. All right, then that should give us a value that we can test. Plot spread perf last N weeks. Plot spread perf last N weeks. So we should just do the last 2 weeks, and it should be the 2018 season. We should actually do the 2007 season. And then it'll do week 5, so this will average week 3 and 4 data. And then let's run it. St. Louis minus 16. Okay, cool. So I gotta go to the bathroom again, but I'll come back. After that, I'll come back and then we'll check to make sure this is doing the right thing, and then we could go on to plotting and get the other plots that we want to get. Okay, so we've got the plot. Now, we want to look at the average spread over the last 2 games. So this looks good. Now let's go look at Buffalo. Now, according to this, then Buffalo spread week 4 should be 6, and then Buffalo spread week 3 should be minus 14. So let's go check that. Okay. Um, so we went to verify Buffalo week 4 and 3 of 2007. Week 4, 2007, Buffalo, where are you? All right, week 4 of 2007. Buffalo lost to the Jets by 3. The spread was 3. Oh, so we should fix these. Um, yeah, but they're not locked. How do you lock, I want to lock this row. Nice. Okay. So back to 2007, week 4, Buffalo, where are you? All right, 2007 Buffalo, week 4. We should also word wrap this. All right. So here's 2007 Buffalo, week 4. Home. So Buffalo is home. They opened as they were 3-point dogs. Oh, okay. This is getting. I figured out what the difference was. This down here is getting the spread diff. Yeah, how much the spread swung last week. This is getting how they performed against the spread last week. So those are very different. I have a scab on my knee that's bugging me. Um, all right. So, yeah, this up here, the past performance of home minus past performance away. Get previous spread swings. So, up there is getting performance against spread. I'm getting the spread swings based off previous spread swings. So this is getting the average spread swing. Now, not performance against spread. The spread swing here was 0. The difference in the game was 3. Buffalo won. So we are getting performance against spread. Because get previous spread swings, num weeks to go back. Performance data equals get performance against spread. Right, so this is get previous week, get previous spread, not swings. This is performances. Um, and then get previous spread swings, performances. Get previous spread performances. Um, oops. Get previous spread swings. Okay, now this is performances. Okay, now just to double check. Buffalo beat the spread by 6. Then minus 14 the week. Oh, so beating the spread, average performance against the spread. Okay. So Buffalo, their average performance against the spread is minus 4 over the last 2. Dallas blew out the spread in their 2 previous games. Um, so, hmm. So what we're gonna be getting here, what we just got is performance against spread. I wish I hadn't exited out of that. On the x-axis, we'll have to double check what's on the y-axis. Plot spread performance last N weeks. All scores. Get data 2, game diff is the swing in the spread. Okay, so the x-axis will be the average performance over the last n games, and then the y-axis will be spread swing. So this is not accurate. So we don't want it to say spread swing last game, home versus away. Spread. This is average spread performance last num weeks games. All right, so this is average spread performance last num weeks games. Home minus away. And then this is spread swing for home team. And then the title should be spread swing versus performance against spread last num weeks games. Um, and then the season should be whatever the season that's specified. All right, now we should pull up the whole list and do everything. Okay, nice. And so the first thing is we want to get the last 2 weeks. And we'll have to go do something else while this runs. All right, so get last n weeks. We want to get the last 2 weeks. And we want to do that for the 2007 season. Um, for week and weeks, for week in weeks, if, or get data 2, previous spread performances, week to look for. If, okay, so let's say we want to get the last 4 weeks and we're on week 4. Well, that won't work. If we want to get the last 3 weeks on week 4, then that will work. So if num weeks, if week is less than num weeks, then we can say pass. Yeah, we'll just say that. If week is less than num weeks, pass. Else, do this whole thing. All right, so that should handle it. Now we want to get the last, we already looked at the last 1 week. So let's get the last 2 weeks for 2007. All right, now, oh man, for week and weeks, spread scores. If week is less than num weeks, is less than or equal to num weeks. Cincinnati, Seattle is what it started out with. Nice. So that was week 3 of the 2007 season. So if you want to get the last 2 weeks, you should start with week 3. Okay. So let's go back to here. Now we're looking at this for the last N games. Now we haven't looked at any total data yet. So all this code that looks at the spread, we could also get it to look at the total. So let's say do same analysis I'm performing with the spread, but with total data. Um, okay. And okay, so we've looked at those trends. What are some other, we obviously want to copy this trend with the total. Um, so what if we just say, what about a general machine learning model with inputs? Um, let's see if we could find anything machine learning to predict NFL games. Let's see if there's any machine learning projects anyone's done. What's this? Predicting NFL games here. This is from a while ago. This is a nice data set. So there's all the ELO. Whoa. Wow, that's crazy. Um, that is great data. Okay. So this is all quarterback stuff. I guess the quarterback is pretty important. Other games on a neutral site. Home team's quarterback adjusted base rating before the game. Well, that's pretty amazing. Oh, wow, this is 538 data. I see. Wow. Hmm. Well, this could be really good data to use. Um, 538 data. They have ELO ratings for NFL teams. And that could definitely help us a lot. Now, where's this at? What week are we in? Week 10? All right, that's pretty good. And my hope is that we'll see this. So this data, there's not a really strong trend, but you can see, you could think of a betting strategy to make. Like you could say, hey, if the data is to the left of this point, so basically missing out on this data here. We could say if the data is to the left of this point, so basically if the data is less than -3, assume the spread is going to swing in favor of the home team. And the majority of these games, it's swung in favor of the home team. So you could think of some strategy we could derive from this, but um, like there is a trend, it's just not really strong. But you notice that um, when the spread swing last game is um, much stronger in favor of the away team. When the spread swing for the last game is stronger for the away team, then the spread swing for this game tends to be in favor of the away team. No, because here I did closing spread minus opening spread. So yeah, if it's moving positive, then that means it's moving in favor of the home team, right? So coming off games where the away team has the much better spread, or in competitions where the away team has the much better performance against spread in the previous game, then we see that um, the spread swing for the current game tends to be in favor of the away team. And likewise, when the spread swing for the last game, when the home team performed better against the spread in the last game, then the spread swing for this game tends to be in favor of the home team. So that's not um, too big of a surprise. Um, I'm just waiting for this to finish running. I hope it finishes soon. We're on week 13, so week 14. 2 more weeks to go after this one. Oh, up to week 15, so one more week to go after this. Um, yeah, so I'm hoping to find, basically, I'm hoping we'll see this plot, but there's a much stronger correlation between these two variables. And if we could get a strong correlation, if we could get a strong correlation and be fairly confident in which way the spread's going to swing, like I said, it's a no risk bet. Um, okay. No risk bet if we bet the money line, not the spread. Um, the spread if you get both sides of the money line, if you bet underdog on the money line for both teams while they're underdog, then you'll win no matter what. If you're betting the spread, then you only win if it's a close game. And if it's a blowout, then you lose. So come on, we're almost done. Just finishing up this last week of the season. Come on. I want to look at this plot. Oh, I was thinking 16 was the last week. 17 is the last week. I'm drinking a ton of water, so I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. And when I get back, the plot should be up. Okay, nice. So, this data looks a lot more grouped, but that's because there's this one crazy outlier, where the home performed better against the spread the last two games, and and yet still the odds swung heavily in favor of the away team. Yeah, so again, it's actually this looks even harder. This one looks even more difficult to draw any conclusions from. Why is the scale so much bigger for this one? Spread swing last game, home minus away. Oh, and this is the performance against spread. Okay, so this is the spread swing according to how well that team is performing against the spread. Are we sure? Oh yeah, that makes sense. So instead, okay, spread swing versus performance against spread. So we have that. Now, in the last two games. All right, now we could put this into our PowerPoint. Um, swing and spread, open. Swing and spread open to close this game versus swing and spread in previous games. Swing and spread this game versus performance against spread in the previous game. Yeah, I mean, this data looks more trended than the last data. I mean, 2018 versus 2007, but still. Um, so a pretty important thing right now is to speed this up because it's going so slow. Um, at least that data, there's nothing. There's not much to it either. Um, okay. So let's look at this. Now, plot spread performance last n weeks. This is get previous spread performances. Uh, we just want to get the data for the last n weeks. We want to get spread performance, how well the team performed. So let's make a function called get past data. And we want to get it for team, week, season, and num weeks to go back. And then we want to pass in the data. Um, because we don't want to have to do what we're doing right here. We just want to say, okay, instead of changing the code around, we just want to say, okay, now go do this for this data, go do this for that data. So let's also get, all right, performance data equals get performance against spread. Um, get performance against spread. Result is that. Now, okay, so if it's a away team, then spread swing is equal to df of road close spread minus df of road open spread. All right, got the spread swing there. All right, then performance against spread is equal to that, comma, spread swing. Okay, and then when we are calling this function, Okay, so perf equals that of 0. Get previous spread performances. Get performance against spread. Dot append performance data of 0. Now get performances against spread. Get performance against spread there, get performance against spread, index 0, get performance against spread, and here we're indexing 0. So that looks pretty good. Now instead of doing 0, we can do 1 to get the swings instead of performance. All right. Now get index 1. And that's already at index 1. All right, cool. All right, so spread scores is equal to get data 2. Past performance of way is equal to statistics dot mean of perf. 146. All right. Get previous spread performances. So perf is returning something weird. Performances. All right. Now we're appending performance data of 1. So let's just go put that in there and see what we've got. All right. Performance data. All right. Performance data of 0. What's that look like? Performance data of 1. What's that look like? All right. Now that looks like we need to, where did we put the debugger in? Get previous spread performances. So we want to debug this. Previous swings.append performance data, get performance against spread. We want to debug get performance against spread. We want to do test performance against spread. All right, so take this test off. Put this one back on. All right. Get performance against spread. Okay. Get performance against spread. Whatever, let's just test it. Get previous spread performances. Man, I'm stuck. Week to look for. So if we want to get previous spread performances, get performance against spread. I mean, I don't even know. Run it again. Okay. Uh, get performance against spread. Get performance against spread. Team week here. Get performances against spread. Oh, so perf is equal to that. Oh my god. Get performance against spread. Okay, then we add spread swing onto the end of performance against spread. Get performance against spread of team of week to look for of 1. Um get performance against spread. I just don't really get what a. Okay, let's go back to there. Now we're adding spread swing onto here. So spread plus result. Performance against spread is spread plus result dot values dot item. Spread swing. I guess we could also do spread swing dot values dot item. Nice, okay. I think that should clear it up. Go back down here. Put the plotting back on. Take off the test performance against spread. Oh man, that debugger is still there. Okay, so that shouldn't mess us up at all. Let's exit out of there so that it doesn't take forever, and then we can put the debugger, take out the debugger, save it, and go back here. Okay, and then run it. Oops, we want to run the script. Okay. Wonder what those values are. It's printing right there. So this should take a while to run. So I'm going to end this live stream. What I'm going to focus on now is I want to get swing and spread this game versus performance against spread over the previous games. I want to do that for 1, 2, 3, and 4 previous games. Um, And then I'm also going to try last n week spread as input neural network, analyze average spread swing going back several weeks. So I have it for 1 week. Now we got to do 2 weeks for each type. And then the final thing I want to add is get data from 538 and start doing analysis with it. So we're still in the data exploration stage. We're going to keep exploring the data for a while as we keep working on getting our models, refining those. Um, oh, hey. Hi, CSGO Tunisia. Wow, that's nice. If you position your cam at bottom right, it will be more better. Man, thanks. Cool. Uh, wow. What a good tip. I wonder if that guy left. Thank you. Thank you. CSGO Tunisia. Hi. Wait just a sec. Okay, I turned the camera off. No. Okay, so anyway, that's the end of this stream. I'll keep going on this other work here, and thanks to CSGO Tunisia if you're still listening for putting something in the chat and for the tip. That will make me better, so thank you. All right.